Welcome to Subramani. Today I'm going to take some questions which have been asked by some of the readers, viewers, whatever you call them. And so let me take them up one by one. So mobile apps such as Robinhood and Zerodha have made it easy for investors to become active traders in hot stocks. And what do you think of this trend? Honestly, I belong to the Rahul Dravid era or the Chetan Pujara era of batting, and I believe that investing is more like a test match. So the people who wait there will make more money than the people who come and want to hit the first ball for a six. Right? It may not be possible. Everybody may not be as talented to be able to play all the formats. So trading is far more difficult than investing. I do trade, but it's an insignificant portion of my money, and that kind of money which I can afford to lose. But largely I am an investor. I know if I go in there and wait for the bad balls, that's good enough for me to score. However, I am perhaps completely incompetent to talk about what a great investment it could be if you buy in Zerodha, Robinhood, whatever, and how much of money you make, because a lot of people speak anecdotally and said, I did this trade, I made so much money. Sure, I have a trade yesterday in which I made $5 per share and I had $5,000, so I made $25,000. Is it a great thing to do? Once in a while maybe, but is it my main thing to do? Answer is no, it's not. So a lot of empirical studies so far have shown that more the friction, which means more the buying and selling, more the demat charges, more the taxation, more the SGT, so it definitely becomes inefficient. But the best caveat I can add is I do not know how it is going to work out in the longer run. So far, from whatever evidence that I have seen and what I have seen around people who are good investors, trading doesn't really help too much, and trading is far more difficult than doing an SIP. So personally, I would stay away from it, but it's your choice. Thanks. Okay, the second question is, Bitcoin has soared in value, and even SPACs in the US have soared in value, which is the special purpose acquisition companies, and they are getting a lot of buzz. Do these investments have a role in an individual's portfolio? Which means he's saying, should I buy Bitcoin, should I buy SPAC? In India you can't buy SPAC, so that's out. But in India some kind of SPAC has been used by people, right? There has been a holding company. I mean, Tatas have a holding company, Murugappa Group has a holding company in which they hold their shares. It quotes at a discount, so that is slightly different, because it's all they have shares in companies which are up and running and which pay huge dividends, right? So that might be slightly different. The question that is to ask is, do you understand what is happening? Do you look at Bitcoin and say 10, 20, 30 years from now, where will Bitcoin be and what it will do for me? What will this pack do for me? Do I understand what this will be 3 years hence or even 6 months hence? If the answer for all this is it's complicated, I am not willing to put in any effort to study what it is and all that. I'm just buying because somebody else has bought and because there is momentum, then you're in the wrong place. Even whether it is to buy a share or a fund or anything like that, if you are not willing to put in enough effort to do that, you have to understand that some of these concepts are ones where the leaders who propagate the idea definitely make money. Whether you will make money, I have no clue. So I think you should just walk away from these investments. These are actually trades in which some people make money, but largely, like they say in gambling, the house makes money whether you make money or not. So in these cases, I do not know whether you will make money, but the leaders who propagate such ideas will surely make money. Thanks. Okay, this is a little funny. That's saying, if we don't trade, if we don't speculate, if we don't do transactions on a daily basis, what is the secret to investing success? So I think whether it is investing success or bodybuilding success or a good health success, it's all the same thing. Keep it simple, do what you can understand, do your homework and do it consistently. So the same thing applies even while investing. Understand that a broad market index with 30-40 companies, maybe 60 companies will do better than the individual stock picks that you can do, simply because it is not your full-time job, right? To make money like Warren Buffett, you have to work like him. Are you willing to put 8 hours a day in reading balance sheets and be able to understand it? It's not easy, right? If you don't want to work full time like Buffett, then what is it, or Prashant Jain or a Narayan Shankaran or an Anand Radhakrishnan or whoever you want to talk about, if you are not willing to do that, why do you think you should earn like them? Do you have a big team? Do they do some work and give it to you on the basis of which you decide? No, you don't have any of these things. So aren't you better off investing in an index or in a large fund rather than trying to pick stocks? Now when you are talking of speculating, it means you go and listen to somebody who says, I think this is a good buy, and then you go and buy it, right? So that guy could be on Twitter, he could be on any social media, and he could be talking complete nonsense. Please also understand from where that person comes. If that person has huge other income and he's incidentally here and it is a small part of his portfolio, it is fairly obvious that he is going to talk about what he wants to sell or what he is doing, and he may be completely wrong. If a person has not managed money, if a person has not managed direct equity investments, if he has not sat and spoken to clients about it, if he does not have a track record, the chances are you should not listen to him. So would I listen to a social media influencer who has other income, or will I listen to a Naren or a Prashant who has got a track record? Right? That is the question to ask. I would rather follow the big fund managers instead of following some person on some social media post, right? So let's simplify the homework. You know you have to make money, you know you have a long-term view in life, you know you have 20, 30, you're 25 years of age or 27 years of age, which means you've got another 60, 70 years in which the investment has to fructify. So pick a large cap fund, pick up a large based fund. I didn't mean a large cap fund, it could be multi-cap. Pick a fund like that, start doing an SIP in that. The chances are you will make more money in that than you will make money in these social media noise companies, right? So first of all, you have to learn your sources of information. Sources of information cannot be social media alone. Social media can be more a spoiler, and it can be an alert saying, oh, this fund is not doing well, or things like that. It cannot be a recommender, because you don't know why that person is recommending, where that person is making money from. You know nothing of that sort. So you need a filter to keep out noises, and every day some noise you will hear about, I bought this share and I made so much money, I did an SIP in ITC and made money. The guy who's making money is actually busy making money. The guy who's not making money is trying to influence you socially and say, please buy this because I have bought this. This is ridiculous. I cannot, if I'm a deer, I cannot go and ask a lion what to eat, right? Lion eats meat and I eat grass. So I'm fine with grass because I'm a deer. So don't get poor by getting into all these fast trades and social media recommendations. Social media recommendation is exactly what it is. It is fun. Television is fun. Social media is fun. Go there, have fun. Don't listen to people because you don't know what is their agenda, why they are saying this, how they have actually made money, right? So if you do not know how I have made my money and what I am selling, right, you should not listen to me. It's very important that you don't listen to me. Now let me clarify. The only thing that I am selling here are my books, which are currently not available simply because of the lockdown. It will soon be available. So there is nothing else that I have to sell, right? So you should at least know what I'm trying to sell. Maybe I just want to become a big influencer and have 1 million followers. So you don't understand what I'm selling, then you better be aware of me, right? Thank you. Subra, you keep saying that it is a bad idea to monitor the share market on a daily basis. Why is it so? Well, very clearly, if you are a doctor or a practicing chartered accountant or a lawyer or an employee working 12 hours a day, you will not get time to monitor the market on a day-to-day basis except on your mobile. And believe me, it can be very, very energy sapping and it can be very distracting. So it will not allow you to work. So I keep saying today writing code has become very difficult because 95% of writing code is making sure you're not doing time pass on social media, right? 95% of effort is that. After that only you can write code. So it's very distracting, like whether it is Twitter or Facebook, if you have the notification alert, it will keep saying something. So similarly, if you have an app which says, oh, this share has reached so much, you think you're forced to act, right? So if you are daily engaged or your laptop is on and you're working, but you've got all the alarms, notification from Twitter, notification from Facebook, notification from LinkedIn, notification from the markets, you will not be able to concentrate on your work. This is not your full-time job. For you, this is fun, right? So it's like, if you're very keen on playing cricket and you've played at your college level, maybe you even played at your district level and you were in the probables for your state level, which means you're a very serious cricket player, but still you've made your choice. You're saying, I cannot play cricket because I can't make that as a career. I have chosen a profession. I am an engineer. I'm writing code or I'm doing some work or something else I'm doing. Cricket is now a Saturday, Sunday activity, not a full-time main activity. Monday morning, 8 o'clock, I don't expect to see you in the nets. I expect you to be getting ready to go to office. That's what it is. So Monday to Friday, you're serious about what you're doing. Saturday, Sunday, you're doing a hobby. So you have to decide whether investing for you is a main activity for people like Buffett or Naren or Prashant Jain who get a salary for doing what they're doing. Or are you going to say, well, I am doing part-time, but I still will speculate? It doesn't work that way. I mean, George Soros speculates, right? But for him, it is his business. He knows how to do it. He's got a team. Somebody is advising. He is taking the decision whether to do it. I'm sure you can trade, but realize that trading is distracting. It will keep you away from doing your main job. And that is not something which is very sensible to do. So the question to ask is, will I make money in equity over the next 10, 20, 30 years? Well, if the past is an indicator, answer is yes. Will there be a 10-year period in which you don't make as much money as you could have made in a debt fund? Answer is yes. Is there a 10-year period when your PPF will look much better than your equity fund? Yes, there is. Answer to that is yes. But over a 30-year period, the probability of making money in equity is far higher than the probability of making money in other asset classes. Therefore, you should be in equity. You should be an investor, and you should understand that the fund that you have chosen or funds that you have chosen are doing well or not doing well. Again, you're not looking for consistency. Consistency is impossible to find in equity markets. So if you find a manager who is reasonably good, who does not make big losses when the market falls, and who does not give very great heights when the market goes up, and he takes a steady path, and you're doing an SIP with him, you will make money in the long run. Why do you need to speculate? Having said that, if you want to make speculation your main time, full-time job, then my answer could be very different. Speculation or trading is not a part-time activity for doctors and chartered accountants and lawyers and others. It is a great profession and a very expensive hobby. Thanks. Subra, why is it that you personally invest in direct equities but you advise us to put money in a broad index fund? Well, so do many other investors, right, including Buffett. If I do not know your capacity to buy or your capacity to read balance sheets, analyze, etc., why would I say that you should be investing in direct equity? Because direct equity investing is far more difficult than investing in the mutual fund. Can you do it? Of course you can do it. What should you do? 70 or 80% of the money that you can invest or should invest for meeting your goals should be in broad index funds, and you should keep 20% away. So suppose you're investing 1 lakh per month, then you take away 20,000 rupees for doing your speculation, trading, whatever you call it, and all this surplus from that should maybe go to charity, or maybe on that, after paying tax, it goes for compounding, whatever. But that limit of how much you can speculate per month should be fixed, kept constant, and the profits removed from that to be put away somewhere else, because tomorrow if there is a loss, you will feel, okay, at least I've earned so much. So separate accounting helps. That's all. Thank you.